and welcome to this podcast. This is Suzanne, and the topic today is fan communication through fanfiction. I will show you why fanfictions are a great way for fans to share their thoughts and an excellent example for computer-mediated communication. First, we'll talk about what fanfictions are, then how they function as a medium of communication. I hope you will enjoy this podcast, and maybe tomorrow you will start a fanfiction of your own. So, what is a fanfiction? Fanfictions are creative writing within an already existing context. They can be based on books, movies,
anime and manga, real persons, TV shows, music groups, games, cartoons, comics, plays, musical songs,
poems, and non-fictional texts. To produce a fanfiction, authors place known characters or other elements from the canon text in new situations. This is a method professional writers have already been using for ages. The novel Wicked, for example, is based on The Wizard of Oz. As the name says, of course fanfictions are composed by fans. And the difference between fans and people with casual interest in a topic is that fans are typically interested in even minor details of the object of fandom. So writing fanfiction is a method to explore every aspect of a story, or to develop ideas further and share thoughts with others. Fanfictions are quite popular among fans. Currently, the website fanfiction.net alone counts over 2.2 million users. It is understandable that the gender and age of the users varies depending on the genre, but in 1988, Henry Jenkins estimated that 90% of the authors are female. I think that is probably still the case today. Now let's talk about the types of fanfiction. Fanfictions can be stories, poetry, songs, or any other kind of creative works the creators can come up with. The categories and ratings are usually the ones widely used for the film industry, like romance, drama, horror, and comedy, for example. But there are also fanfiction-specific categories. One of them would be Slash, a story that includes two male characters in a homosexual relationship. The name comes from the slash character, used in short descriptions to indicate the pairing. The first Slash couple, for example, was Kirk/Spock in the 1970s. Slash is especially popular with young women. The reason herefore is not only based on erotic. The love between two men is often used to demonstrate many women's wish for equal relationships. Numerous female authors feel that even now, these days, in a relationship, women and men cannot be totally equal, and they try to communicate this view through Slash fanfictions. Another typical genre for fanfictions is the Mary Sue. This type of story is not cherished by most members of the fanfiction community. The original character created by the author shows very idealized standards and is nearly perfect in every way. He or she is stronger, more intelligent, and beautiful than any other character in the story. And often, he or she also wins the love of the main character. Even though this genre is not valued by the fanfiction community, new users often write this kind of fiction to explore their possibilities in writing. It is difficult to identify the true beginnings of fanfictions. They first got popular through the Star Trek community as a reaction to the cancellation of the show. Fans produced magazines called fanzines, containing newsletters and fanfictions. The interest in fanfiction experienced a big boost through the internet. In the late 1980s, early 1990s, fan communities exploded in number and popularity, parallel to advances in computer technology. Now that we know more about the medium we're going to talk about today, let's come to our actual topic, communication through fanfiction. Through writing stories, fans can communicate their ideas, point of view, or critique concerning the fandom, or like actual writers, comment on social and political issues. An important and quite common element is the author's note. It usually can be found in the beginning of the story, or maybe every chapter. For these short notes, authors can directly address their readers to explain elements of the story, to thank their readers for support, or maybe feedback. Gilliam writes on the Fanfiction Symposium website that fanfiction sites like fanfiction.net can be seen as a community in which the participatory process of constructing the story is as important, if not even more so, than the finished product. In fact, readers often help the authors and give them advice in form of reviews, whether it concerns the writing style or the plot. This way they can help the writers to progress and develop their skills. Feedback can be given for each chapter individually or for the story as a whole. Some fictions have an incredible huge number of comments. For some I could count over 1,000 feedback posts. Many fans believe that fanfictions would not have such an enormous community without the internet. The largest fanfiction archive online is fanfiction.net. In her article, Fanfiction Writing and the Construction of Space, Black states that in December 2007, the website hosted over 1 million stories. As of September 2010, I counted as many as 3.2 million fanfictions. Fanfiction.net's main purpose is to give fans a platform to compose fanfiction, to post reviews, to socialize, to engage in collaborative writing, and to join broad discussions about various canons of any fandom. To enable easy communication, the site also offers a forum, an internal messenger, and a chat. In the same text I mentioned earlier, Black also points out that numerous communication applications show that the site is designed not only as an archive for completed fictions, but also as a space intended to maximize discussion and socialization between fans. The interaction between readers and writers illustrates fans' strong allegiance to their fandom. It also underlines the importance of online communication and pluralism. In his article Textual Approaches, Jenkins speculates that for fanfiction authors, writing becomes a social activity functioning simultaneously as a form of personal expression and as a source of collective identity, part of what it means to be a fan. Websites and forums that are used to share fanfictions can be considered affinity spaces arranged around the shared passion. Because this common interest is usually not just temporal, it is able to span differences in age, ability, level of education, or gender. It connects fans from all over the world. An important feature typical for fanfiction is the wide range of terms used by authors and readers. These terms describe special genres, characters, or elements of fanfiction. They are understood by all members of this community and therefore an essential part of fan communication. Here's some examples. Alternative universe or out of character. This genre is a contradiction of the canon text. Important features of the characters are often altered or reversed. The story often contains elements that have been impossible in the original text. Another genre is the Mary Sue fiction I've already mentioned, and a very important one for me is the round robin. The round robin involves several authors, each taking turns in writing the story. These fanfictions are very similar to pen and paper or forum roleplay games, where each author is responsible for one character in the story. The last one I want to mention here is the plot bunny, an affectionate expression for an idea that is stuck in your head and you just have to write it down, no matter how silly it is. And they breed very rapidly. Since fanfictions are usually text-based, visual features are very unimportant and pretty much not existing. But sometimes the writers also include fan art to illustrate the story. Concerning the language and linguistic features, I would like to first mention some aspects about the actual language fanfictions are written in. Fanfictions exist in many languages: German, Italian, some are in French or in Spanish. But since English is understood by a large majority of the readers, it is the most used language for fanfictions. Many English language learners read English fanfictions, and some even write their own stories in English in order to communicate with a larger number of fans. Fanfictions can have narrative character or be written as a script. The linguistic features used by the author depend on the genre of fanfiction. The style of language can be adjusted to convey a certain message and make the author's voice heard. Correct spelling and grammar are preferred to enable smooth reading. For this reason, writers often ask beta readers to go through the text before they publish a story. Reviews are usually written in rather informal language. Often emoticons made of typographical elements or abbreviations, which are very common throughout the internet, are used. In using these elements, the reviewers identify themselves as a part of the online community, and they are also able to better express their own emotions. As I have tried to demonstrate, fanfictions are a very special, individualistic, and of course fun way for fans to communicate. If you are a fan of something, You can join in as an author or reader through writing stories, comments, or discussing your fandom in the forum. Through fanfictions, you can reach kindred spirits of any age from all over the world. So, here I bring my little podcast to an end. It is time to put the microphone aside and go back to pen and paper. My next chapter is due this Monday. So, thanks for listening. This was Suzanne. Goodbye!